achieving a nuclear-free world, is that realistic? Well, I think it calls people of faith right to the heart of what they believe. Can you imagine that somehow it makes sense to take the power that God, the Creator, has put into the atom, to turn it to the designs of one country to destroy another, to turn it to selfish ends, that this could be a right use of God's greatest gift, creation itself? We're playing with something that is taking us in a completely wrong direction, and I refuse to believe that that's not possible to change. Most of human history has been nuclear weapons free. How should we think that a mistake made 70 years ago is with us forever? But it's surely the mark of our time. We now are able to do, as a species, things that we must not do, increasingly, not just in this area. It could be cloning of human beings. It could be many, many activities that we can think about that are not acceptable. I think we're lucky to have such a terrible example right at the beginning of our history with such advances in science, namely the invention of nuclear weapons, where we can literally call life on this planet into question through our own activities. Nuclear weapons do it fast. Climate change can do it slowly. That's 2 times now. And I think that we and all people of goodwill, this is an issue for everybody. God, I don't think, elevates Christians into any higher position on this issue than anybody else. We of all people have to draw together and to say, no, this is not us. You know the expression, maybe you are what you believe. And I think that's actually a good way to explain Christian faith. We are what we believe. But if we believe in nuclear weapons, if we believe we can't get free of them, what assessment of humanity, what assessment of our God-given obligations to love one another the way we love ourselves, to love them the way we love God. It makes a mockery of all of these things. So I completely reject the premise that it's not possible to get rid of them. I think all Christians have in common that we are all made in the image of God. We all have an inherent dignity, and that this issue challenges that, it mocks that. It takes whatever it is about us that is God's image. And what is it? Is it our brains? Is it our heart? Is it our love? Is it our creativity? Or is it all of those things? It takes them and says they are nothing. They can be blown away in an instant. And I invite every Christian in the world to go to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to speak with the aging survivors of that tragedy, and to understand what they have in common, not only with other Christians, but with every human being. Once again, it's the great leveler. Nuclear weapons are a mirror we can't afford to look into for too very long until we have understood we have made a mistake in getting back out of it. So I think it also has in common for all Christians the premise that many more of us perhaps need to do something about it. How can we accept that the mass destruction of another people is a legitimate way to defend ourselves? That's the contract your government or my government. As an American, I could say my government, that's the contract my government has entered into with its own people. We are willing to destroy other peoples to save you. It's impossible as a way forward. So I think this basic affront to the image of God, to the 6th commandment, to the great commandment as people speak of it, loving your neighbor as yourself, that inherent equality which we all have, are all put at complete jeopardy by the persistence of an idea that we can destroy and have security or peace with something called mass destruction. Impossible.